Hi everyone, I'm Chris O'Neill from Sew the Distance. Thank you so much for joining me for this year's announcements of the 2025, or my 2025, quilting and sewing habits or goals, whatever you want to call it. They kind of are interchangeable. I go into more detail about that in my blog, so check that out. So this year I'm going to do the same thing as I did last year. I picked 5 goals of what I'm going to work on this year. It was such a success for me last year, so it's a little self-serving because I really did benefit from this, and hopefully you did too. From the feedback I'm getting, you really love this series, and it's something to help keep you on track, and that's what it's all about to me. Now, I do have a tracker too if you want to download that, just like last year. That will help you keep on track with your own goals, and you can create your own goals if you'd like on that. Each month I'll also offer a individual monthly tracker and maybe just a little check-in to see how you're doing with your own goals. Now, this is completely free. I'll put a link to that in the first comment below so you can see it. Now, just like last year, each month I'm going to give myself a score, and I'm also going to talk about my glows and my grows. So the glows are the things that I did really, really well in that area, and the grows are where I need to improve. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to get started with my list of 5 goals or habits that I want to work on this year. And number 5 is kind of interesting because that one changed at the last minute. I had a totally different idea in mind, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. All right, so the first goal is to work on my no home zone. What is that, you ask? It's the area where I dump stuff. I have this area in my sewing space where if I have things on my cutting table, which I worked on last year, or anywhere, on tables anywhere, and I need that space clear, I dump it there. Or if I come home from, say, Quilt Guild or a retreat or something, things get dumped there. This area has gotten completely out of control and something I really want to work on because it's a mess. I thought about getting one of those screens to put up around it, but I figured this is probably a little healthier to maybe work on fixing it. That's my first goal or habit that I want to cultivate. My second one is really important to me, and this has been laid on my heart for a few months now, and that is to be very intentional with my quilting purchases. I tend to overspend in this area. Now, I know some people like to do no spend January or even decide they're not going to spend any money on their quilting journey or hobby or whatever you want to call it in the year. For me, that's unrealistic because I know that's part of it. I like to buy things. I like to have new fabrics. I love new fabric lines. However, I am going to be a little bit more intentional with that. I want to support smaller companies. I want to maybe even buy some things secondhand and really be a good steward of this art that we love and see how I can do that this year. I also am going to try to avoid those impulse purchases. I love rulers. I love specialty rulers especially. I love new patterns, all of it, like we all do, or many of us do. So I want to really dive into that and see what is happening there in my own mind and in my own craft, and see how I can improve that and how that's going to make me feel, and just really dive into that area. And with that, I'm also going to pare down my scraps. That is my third goal. I have a ton of fabric. I have a ton of scraps. I have a ton of stray blocks and just stuff. I have pre-cuts and everything all over the place. And I'm going to really pare that down. It's going to give me more space, number one. It's going to give me some more projects and force me a little bit to be creative and use those things that I've kind of been holding on to. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to work on just clearing up the fabrics, especially the scraps, and it could be giving them away. It could be using them. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like, but we're definitely going to pare down the scraps that I have and the fabric that I have in my space. And with that, I'm also going to break out of my comfort zone. I really want to explore more things in the quilting world, like curve piecing or inset seams, or just using different weights of thread in my machine and in my quilting, and push myself a little bit further. I've been sewing for about 30 years now, and I feel like I'm kind of stuck in a rut and do the same old, same old. So I'm gonna play with that a little bit too. And that brings me to my 5th goal. Now, originally, the goal was going to be to use my Featherweight. I've had this Featherweight at least 20 years. I go into the story of the Featherweight on my blog, so you can check that out too. And that was going to be my original 5th goal. But around December 31st, January 1st, I hurt my shoulder. I have a pinched nerve. I'm not sure exactly how I got that. I think it's from crocheting, but I'm not sure. That has delayed this video, which is coming out a lot later than I intended it to. and has kind of put me on the couch with a heating pad for a week or so here, and I'm also getting some treatment through the doctor. I'm in a lot of pain with this shoulder, and it made me realize that I need to keep my body healthy. Now, I've been exercising, which was one of my goals last year. I've been doing a lot of movement breaks. I've been doing a lot of different things like that. But this was a wake-up call for me because I realized if I can't keep my body healthy, especially my mobility, I am not going to be able to enjoy this craft that I absolutely love of quilting and sewing, because it's painful to work on anything right now, which is depressing because this is my outlet, this is my therapy. So I am replacing the featherweight goal for goal number 5, or habit number 5, to make sure that I'm absolutely taking those stretching breaks, that I'm going to work on my muscle tone, maybe add some weightlifting, something to help with my overall health, especially my muscular health. Is that the word? Nerve health? I don't know. Just health of my body, so I can continue to quilt and sew for as long as I possibly can. So there you have it. Those are my 5 goals for 2025. I hope you join me. I'd love to hear your goals. Maybe get an accountability partner. This really helps me to do these videos. It's kind of self-serving because it does keep me on track. I know I'm going to be accountable to you, and I'd love to hear about your goals in the comments. On social media, I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all of those places, so check me out. And I'll also be doing, hopefully, monthly videos. I know last year I wasn't great at that, but this year I'm going to be monthly videos with updates on my habits and goals for the year. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you take some time to sew, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.